We are here from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. So we've got another 50 minutes of local stuff happening. And if you've been here, for the whole show, you would have heard Cad's chat about meeting someone from California who've made their way all the way to Rendlesham. That intrigues me so much. You don't even understand. Now, Wooden Roots, they are based at Bentwaters Park. They are experts in West African drums and percussion, and it's run by husband and wife Marcus and Gemma Brown. Workshops, bespoke drum building and mentoring are all part of their service. So this week, Cad Taylor drove out to Rendlesham from her very, very busy day, and she got deep into beats and finding all about the company.
We are Marcus and Gemma Brown.
And we are Wooden Roots. Literally, our first date, believe it or not, in Los Angeles, he took me to a drum lesson. And it actually turned out that it was sort of the start of his journey, unbeknown to me. And we're talking sort of 17 years ago. I just looked on thinking, my goodness, what have I just come into, you know? It just went from there.
We're at Bentwaters, RAF Bentwaters, and we have a studio which is divided up into a few spaces. So we have Studio 1, which is where we have the drum classes, and then the next room is our shop. In the shop is where you can purchase drums and accessories like bags and cases and sticks and different instruments. So we have a balafon over here, which is a little bit different from the drum, but it's an integral part.
Bit like how I saw the marimba.
It's very similar. There's gourds at the bottom, resonates the keys. So this is just another instrument that you can buy in our shop.
Where would this come from, this particular instrument?
Our instruments come from West Africa. Now the countries in specific, we get instruments from Guinea, Mali, the Ivory Coast, and some Senegal. Sometimes Senegambia as well. It's very close. It just depends. We have different connections in these different parts of West Africa that we've connected with over the years and we've established relationships with. So we're really happy to be able to support those families and communities that from those West African countries. What else you see in this shop is options to customize. So then you can select a drum shell, which is basically a carcass. This drum is a shell. You can see it's hollowed out from a piece of wood. This one is called dugara. It has carvings with inspiration from the carver on the outside. You can then choose the different color rope, and I'm looking at this wall of rope, and there's probably about a good 40 or 50 colors to choose from. Here's a drum that has been commissioned by somebody she's in Nottingham. She's opted for a shell, and then she's chose the rope, and she's asked me to highly polish the wood, as well as she wanted her name inscribed.
You've got national, international orders that you get through from Wooden Roots. How did you set that up?
While we were in the States, we were known for getting nice quality drums, and we were getting customers around the world that were looking for a really nice djembe. Djembes are very common throughout the world. There's different various levels that you can get. A lot of people source these drums off of, say, like, social media sites, and there's many places that you can find these drums, and it's devalued the drums, to be honest. We sometimes get those and we can refurbish them. The drums that we sell, they are of nicer quality. They're designed to help the player in mind for their performance and to excel in their studies. We want people to know that when they're playing their instruments, that when their drum is telling them the truth, they know when they're playing correctly. If the drum doesn't sound right, it's probably you. The drums are properly carved, right? They're tuned also to the pitch it's appropriate for an ensemble.
I play the violin myself, and if I don't play my violin for a long time, it sounds grumpy. It sounds a bit flat as well and dead. Is it a similar thing with the drums?
Kat, you've said something that touches me a lot, because these drums, they're alive still. Although the tree's been cut down, there's still a voice with these drums. Sometimes, you know what? You go, the skin on the drum, and, if it doesn't sound right, it feels neglected. Sometimes the skins break and you have no understanding on why. They're very temperamental, but you can hear the joy that we were having with these instruments. You give a little bit of love, it will come right back to you.
It's obviously got soul and spirit attached to it.
Which, it's the wood, and it's the carving, it's the blacksmiths, it's the way that the tree is now being reborn. In West African cultures, you just don't cut down a tree. No, you just don't sacrifice a goat for its skin. We use every part of what we can. We don't waste anything, is what I'm saying. It's important to be able to, I guess, invest in your future. You're giving to yourself. Yeah.
Let's continue. I like that.
Yeah, so this is where drums get shipped around the world. Yeah, I've got my scales here. We ship to most countries in the world. Although this is a niche type business, there's people that look for a certain type of quality. So sometimes we get drums in for repair from Europe. America still, I've got to be honest with you, there's still a lot of customers that want to follow us from the States because they know the type of quality that we produce. We were contacted by a certain movie company, the Marvel movie Black Panther, about 2 years ago, and they really wanted us to provide really nice quality drums, and they vetted us for about 2 years. They watched us. And they also wanted to make sure that they were working with a reputable company. And this movie that came out, we were so proud that we could provide drums for that movie. And then they asked us too, do you know any musicians who could play for our movie? And what did we do? Our teachers, the people that we know, we passed it on to them too, so they could also get a piece of it. That movie is an amazing movie, and I tear up when I think about it because of all of the types of messages that it's sharing out there, and we're just so happy that they came to us and asked us.
Issues around mental health are on the increase, so often people are looking to refine that spirituality, to give them better well-being, I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen so many people turn, to the worst, just for whatever. Mental health is a serious thing, and if it's something as simple as placing your hand on the drum, feeling the vibration. Don't play yet, just feel the vibration, feel your heartbeat connect. And then when you start placing your hands on the drum, you will get that rhythmic sensitivity come right back. And that is something that I cannot give you. I cannot explain it either. That's something that your body is doing, right? And then when you get into just playing a simple beat, just that small little thing helps you recover and helps you heal yourself.
We had a student rejoin us yesterday. She'd been in lockdown and shielding, and she finally, her words, and I know she won't mind me saying this, she said, I had to come back to drumming for my mental health. She said, I could not stay away any longer. It seemed to be a problem for her immediate community because people were sort of afraid for her branching off and coming back to drumming. But we do offer a very safe environment so that people can do it. We know that we offer a lifeline for many people.
The drum building is a pursuit of happiness for me. This is what I really am. I'm a drum builder, and I try to connect people with the drums. Obviously the playing goes a part of it, but this is where it starts. And I need to be in a space where I can pass that energy on. Sometimes if I don't feel right about a drum, I have to wait. It takes time. It takes time to work through and make the drum speak. It's just not you just grab a drum off the shelf and just make it go woo-doo. And yes, I have quite a bit of experience, but I'm still humbled by every single drum.
Who did teach you? Where does this come from in your journey, Marcus?
The first time I got into drumming, or first time I re-headed a drum, was back in 2002, 3, around there. I wanted to know what made it work. I just really wanted to tinker. I went through drums breaking, and then it started to be getting too expensive to send it off for a repair. So then I started to learn how to build drums. And then it was one of my teachers that said, look, you know what? We need to show you a few basics. And they said, this is how you should build a drum properly. And then from there, I took that on. And my first teachers for that was Maget So. He plays with Angelique Kidjo. If you've heard of Angelique Kidjo, he's the lead percussionist drummer. And then also my other teacher, Solo Soro from the Ivory Coast. That's basically the foundation of where the drums start for me, the shell. And then from there, I just start refining with using different tools and different woodworking tools. I have a room dedicated to specific skins. Skins that I have are from West Africa. This is a goat skin. This one has been trimmed and prepped, ready for me to head. But in this other room, I have a room dedicated for skins and hides. So what you're walking into... So what you're seeing now is basically skin hides that have been inspected and cleaned and pass a veterinary inspection and are allowed to enter the UK.
Right. You have different patterns. Is it important, the aesthetic, or does that not matter?
It does.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the aesthetics make somebody feel good. They want to see something, or sometimes people say, I don't want to see the fur. It's a little bit too taboo. Some people want a clean skin. More importantly is the wood. But then when you get that sound, you're going to be chasing that sound, and it's usually then the skin. I know what it's done for me, and that we just expose it to people, and it's up to them to see if they want to embrace it. It's just another outlet, you know, another way to connect.
Tunaya fama tunaya ya Rabbi. Manaya fama no. Naye. Sanaya fama tunaya. Naye. Tunaya fama naye ya Rabbi. Jarabi, Sona Jabate. And before that, we heard from Marcus and Gemma Brown. Incredible. There's just so many key things to take from that. And guess what? It doesn't stop there. We're going to listen to a second piece now, and we're going to hear from Yahil and Richie talking about the spirituality and heritage of this drumming and music. Again, with Kat Taylor on BBC Radio Suffolk.
Hey, you guys are rocking.
Yeah, we're warm now.
Wow, you're warm now. Okay.
My name is Yahil Kamara Nono from London. I'm the band leader of Balimaya Project.
My name is Richie Sweet and I'm a percussionist in London. I'm here with Yahil. I'm very lucky to have as my teacher, and I'm just here to also check out Wooden Roots and see what they're doing.
My passion is music, culture, tradition, dignity, and peace and love. That's what I'm about, man.
You were talking about the fusion earlier of the Nigerian music and jazz. Can you talk a bit about that?
I'm half Nigerian, half Senegalese myself. So, but it's mainly Manding music from West Africa, which encompasses Senegal, Mali, Gambia, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, but mainly styles from Senegal and Mali and Ivory Coast, and try to do my best to merge that Manding music with jazz elements, and especially the sound coming out of South London, which is very popular at the moment, and just putting our own flair on it. Also giving opportunity to young black musicians to understand that they can do a lot with their culture. I think before the hypersensitivity and the magnifying glass of this year, for me, it's always been a focal point in how I run things, how I want to be seen, how I want others to be seen, and my culture to be perceived. And especially now, it's more so focused on the empowerment. We are very much aware of how we've been disempowered, and the only way to move forward is to create tangible change. And thus, I'm trying to create a series of workshops, first starting with a weekend, now move to the beginning of next year due to COVID regulations and just trying to make it work for everybody, where it gives space for young black creatives that normally would not be on the receiving end of the marketing of a lot of West African and cultural workshops. It allows them to come into the space for free of charge, where they'll be taught djembe, dunun, talking drum, congas, kora, balafon, singing, trumpet arrangements, guitar and bass arrangements, and we'll just give, but also an open workshop to all in the public, but especially trying to have a focus on those young people to try and give them space to come through and take something from it.
So important, the idea that sometimes music can be perceived as elite because there might be a social barrier or a financial barrier, a cultural barrier to re-find your past. So that's obviously important in your work.
100%. I think there needs to be a learning and an unlearning process that needs to take place. I think we need to learn that we are nothing without our past, nothing without our culture and our heritage, and we need to unlearn the lies told to us that our culture was somehow primitive or not as important as the styles coming out of the West. And though the styles coming out of the West are beautiful, a lot of them wouldn't be here if not for the cultures coming from predominantly West and Central Africa. And I think it's very important to empower those young people, let them know that there's a way that their cultural heritage is less of a hindrance but more of an asset to them moving forward and doing something with their lives that can have meaning, and ultimately the main word here is legacy, and that's what it is today.
Richie, I'm going to come to you. It'd be great to hear a bit more about your journey. I know you're only 21.
Yeah, so I'm a percussionist working in London, and like I said, I'm lucky to have the opportunity to study with several people who are major proponents of folkloric culture in the UK. Obviously working on Monday music with Yahil, I just started this year, but it's been an amazing learning curve for me because I come from playing congas and learning djembe and djembe arrangements, and about the culture and how the music relates to the dance, and how all the phrasing is very different to what I've had the opportunity to play before. And I also work a lot with Dave Patman and Vicky Jassy, who are probably the biggest proponents of folkloric Cuban music in the UK. And they do an amazing job at organising that scene in London. Obviously, pre-COVID, it was really, really amazing. Very lucky to have lots of people playing at a really high standard in London and all around the UK as well. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Afrobeat and jazz, and trying to use the folkloric knowledge to, sound more authentic and and come into the music with, my own voice, but it's backed with the history of the music and backed with, real knowledge and real styles of playing. So I'm not faking it, and I'm not just ripping off someone else's instrument without knowing how to play it and how it was, how the music came into existence. And like Yahila said, this music is so old. I'm also very lucky to study at a classical music conservatoire. Sometimes there's not nearly enough respect given to the folkloric music of other cultures. So I'm really, really lucky. So I'm studying classical percussion and drum kit. So yeah, usually playing in orchestras and learn to play drum kit. But yeah, it's an absolute blessing to have people of such a standard leading the way in the UK, and obviously Wooden Roots providing amazing equipment. Yeah, there's a lot of stigmas. There's a lot of stigmas in that world. Yeah, like you said, need to be unlearned. It comes from a place of ignorance, really, on a lot of other people's behalf, where there's not that. We need more people. We need workshops. We need people to open their eyes to how complicated and beautiful some of the music that they have around them are. And we're really lucky to have people in the UK who are at that level, and people just need to open their eyes and experience it. Yeah, those spaces are dominated by people who have access to music education, and obviously with cuts in funding and community projects, there's not the opportunities that there should be, like Yahil said, for people who are underprivileged and who can't have that opportunity because of financial barriers to actually experience their roots. Or, I've been very lucky to study lots of traditional music from other cultures. I'm half Irish and half English. I've got nothing to do with Mandingo music, but there are so many people who come from that culture but who don't have the opportunity because of financial or where they live, and that's what's really nice about.
Richie, thank you. Wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Richie and Yahil Kamara Onono are real prolific drummers in the scene. Just incredible stuff they're doing. It's just so, so much learning there. And the next track I'm going to play is Marcus's pick. I played Gems earlier. This one's from Marcus. Nogoron by Sungalu Kulabali. I'm trying here. And I want to just read out this little note from Marcus. He says that Sungalo invokes his rhythmic sensitivity. He is complex and technical, yet smooth and funky. He was a mature player that is still highly respected by master drummers around the world, and is up there with Mamadi Keita, Adama Drame, Famuda Konate, and Faduba Olare, who is also legendary. And you're going to love dancing to this one. Goran, BBC Radio Suffolk. Oh God, there's nothing better than just drums, eh? That percussion sounds beautiful. Thank you so much to Marcus and Gemma for the input there. The incredible tracks and all contributors that Cad Taylor spoke to. Just sounds like an amazing project, and hopefully this has given you some more profile and awareness now in Suffolk. Well, we nearly finished the show. We finish at 10 p.m. now, so we nearly reached the end.